Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Be you Clydeside, stateside, or worldwide, rise up. Your boys are back. The Scottish Falcons, episode 27, and part one of the big weekend doubleheader. I'm here as always with my co-host with the most, Des Stevenson, the original Scottish Falcon. Always flying the flag, my brother, and it's good to have you back once again. As I say, we've got a lot to get into to kind of start the hype train rolling for tomorrow night's game against Miami. So what are you saying about it?
Well, are we in the season of Kirktober? That's what I'm going to ask. It's no Halloween. It's Kirktober. Yeah. So, interesting to see. You know what I mean? You're getting a lot of different messages. You're getting Raheem Morris coming out in his presser saying that he still thinks Michael Penix Jr. is going to make it. Then you hear Adam Schefter, who's normally spot on with these kind of things, come out and saying that, well, Kip might be playing tomorrow. So
yeah, it's something
interesting times.
Yeah, interesting would be one word for it. If I could say it with no words, I would. As I sent it to the group chat, it's basically Tobey Maguire's reaction of just being like, that was kind of how I felt when I read likely to start. I was like, oh, okay. As I say, that's something we can get into a bit later on, because we know what Kirk can do and what he has done in the past, but it's still not a position you want to be in. But before we do anything, as I say, we always like to shout out the chat. So we've got a couple of messages to start off with. Tony Hall, hey everyone, hey Tony, and I can also see that our brother from another mother, Floyd's been in there again.
Yeah,
I think we can take that. So it's always good to check in and see that the brothers are in nice and early as always. Hopefully we've got a lot to obviously get your teeth into tonight. We won't focus too much on the bad, because you get plenty of F's and S's on Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll try to keep it as light as possible. But
what is it you say? F's and Jeffs. You get plenty of F's and Jeffs. You know what I mean?
That's effing and blinding, or swearing like sailors. But yeah, you want to keep it light, and there's a video that Des and I were talking about, and would like to get into that. This is a kind of around the NFL thing, but I'll tell you my thoughts just after we show it. But I was not too chuffed with this one. So here's the video.
Fucking dollars.
So we're being kicked out for code of conduct, and our code of conduct was what?
That you are disrupting the enjoyment of
because we were standing up cheering for the Chiefs.
Excessively, yes.
Excessively cheering for the Chiefs.
No, excessively standing.
Excessively standing.
We were only cheering when they're on the field.
So standing up and cheering when the Chiefs are on the field is excessive.
No. Like I said,
that's what we were doing.
They observed that you were non-compliant and that you never sat down.
We sat down during timeouts and stoppages of play.
He sat down when they weren't on
the
field.
The second time the lady walked by.
I'm going to stop it there. Like I feel like that says enough, but make it make sense to me, mate.
I mean, it's listen. I got the same when I was down. It was the Jags game. At Wembley, and I was so effectively, what people don't understand is soccer. If you've grew up a fan of soccer in the UK, you go to a match. I remember going to a cup final once, and I stood the full cup final. My back was effectively in tatters by the end of it, but effectively, somebody stands in front of you, you stand up. You ask them to sit down. If they don't want to sit down, there's nothing you can do. But over in the UK, it's standard to be verbal. It's standard to show your support for your team. You know what I mean? Have a go at the referees, shout abuse. It's normal. But when I went to the New York Jets game in 2021, I seen a wee bit of it when I was really, really verbal. And then in 2023 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I had literally people kind of looking at me as if I was an alien, because effectively I'm screaming, "Come on, the Falcons! You need to do better. This is garbage. You need to run the ball." So I'm shouting stuff like that, right? Getting visually fucking mad, and people are looking at me as if I'm a lunatic. But like that the passion of supporting your team is important to me. I want to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be one of the guys that's just literally sit there with your arms folded, going, "Oh, Bijan, great run, Bijan. Oh, that 8-1-yard touchdown. That was really impressive." You know, I mean, I'm screaming. I mean, I'm quite literally screaming. And then you see this, and from the Chiefs. I mean, it's absolutely disgraceful. As they say, that they're getting penalised for being the best supporters there. They're up on their feet, they're cheering, they're shouting, they're loud. You know what I mean? Kansas City Chiefs always say about the 12th man and effectively how loud it is in their stadium, just like the Seattle Seahawks. But you then effectively tell fans that they're getting threw out because they're standing.
Yeah, this is what I would say. Like, this is what the point we've tried to make when we're talking about the Benz. Be there, support, scream your hearts out, stamp your feet, clap your hands, and get the team going. Because that's what we would do as European fans, because we come from more of a soccer background growing up. That's the way we see supporters act. It's the way, it's the passion we show and the dedication we show to the team. So obviously, that's nothing new to us. And I remember saying to Des when I first seen it, like, if that happened at the Benz to us, you'll need to hold me back. Like, heads are gonna roll, because like, to be penalised for your passion to the team, for your level of love and support, is just ludicrous. And then she goes on in the rest of the video to say, "Oh well, yeah, I can guarantee you're not going to get your money back. You can call the Chiefs tomorrow and take it up with them, but you're not." And it's like, nah. So that makes me feel like it's something that's definitely a deeper issue. It's like, I know we promised we weren't gonna drop too many swear bombs tonight, but it's fucking bullshit. Absolutely. It's ludicrous, and it's not the way you want to run a team. If you claim to be all about the fans, it's absolute farcical behaviour. And
that's how I love. What is it they call it? Is it the bird's nest they call it? And the Benz. That's how I love that, because every time you see that, they're standing up, they're waving flags. Now I'm trying to lose weight, absolutely trying to lose weight. At the moment, me standing all the time, my back's just in tatters, right? Because I've got so much weight. So but if I was going there, I would love to be in amongst that, but I would be at the front row, you know what I mean, so that I could sit down if I really needed to sit down. But again, you get into the passion about it, your adrenaline's flowing. You're just, honestly, I'll take you back to the New York Jets game. I mean, honestly, if somebody had filmed me when I was standing watching Matt Ryan effectively warm up, I was literally I was mesmerised. It was like I was in a daze. I was just standing there looking. My God, that's Matt Ryan. That's Matt Ryan. That's Matt Ryan. I was like, honestly, they would have put me in a nut bin. But these people should be applauded. You know what I mean? The Kansas City Chiefs fans, they shouldn't be penalised for effectively supporting the team. It's garbage.
No,
absolutely garbage.
100% agree. And speaking about someone who always supports the team, shout out Miss Sonia, always dropping the red and blacks in the chat. So we love to see that you're back again. And I can see an interesting question, which we're about to cover, Floyd, is what do we think about Cousins starting? Well, I think I showed it in my face earlier. But yeah, I don't know if it's so much sabotage, but there was definitely... How will I be democratic and polite about this? Coaching inadequacies, shall we say. We'll leave it at that. And if you want any further information on that, you can go back and watch the previous episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
just hide your kids. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we put a parental advisory tag on that for a reason. But before we get into the Kirk situation, you did tell me about one other big headline concerning the sort of around the rest of the league, and it concerns my college team, the Texas Longhorns.
And our former offensive coordinator,
100%. Yep. So when you're talking about Coach Sark, who, as we know, he didn't have the highest of pedigrees, at least when you're talking NFL success. What do you think about the calls that he might be making the switch back to pro ball?
Yeah, I mean, listen, what he's done Texas have improved drastically under him. Even though they've got Arch Manning at the moment, who, to be honest, he's green and he's trying to find his feet. Effectively, that's why when you had all these people that were doing these drafts before the start of the season and putting Arch Manning to the Aints, effectively, if you look back in the history of the Mannings, they've always been 2-year starters before they went to the NFL. And there's no way that Arch Manning is going into the NFL draft next year. It's going to be the year after. So effectively, the pickings at quarterback for the Aints next year is not going to be as good as they thought. So,
no, 100%. And I did say that going in. It was one thing that people said, like, "Oh, Arch Manning's the truth. With that surname, it's a blessing. He's going to come in. He's going to ball out." And I went, but remember, we're not in the Big Ten anymore. SEC football. He's not faced that Georgia defensive front yet. He's not faced that Tennessee defensive front yet. And I think we said it. We might have mentioned it even on the last show. But when you're talking about front seven play, it doesn't get better than the SEC.
Yeah.
Those are some scary guys.
Yeah. But what I would say is that effectively, under Sarkisian, they have improved. They have got better. I think, to be frank, the Falcons' job came just a wee bit too early for him. What I would say is that he was far better than Dirk Cotter, who replaced him after he got fired.
Yes, 1,000%.
So because that was just literally vanilla. That was literally vanilla every weekend. It was garbage. And to be honest, coming after Shanahan, you're always going to be a fall guy to come after the Shanahan offense and try and not even effectively better it, try and effectively just be as good. It's going to be impossible. And to be honest, there's a few things that I look back in hindsight as a Falcons fan. At the time, I thought it was the right idea, and I thought that firing Steve Sarkisian was the right idea. Just as I thought Dan Quinn going at that time was the right idea. But when you then look back, or when you then look and see what's happened after all that's happened, then you think maybe it wasn't the right decision. And to be honest, I think another year under Sarkisian, I think we would have probably improved again.
So here's the question then: would you give him another shot?
As offensive coordinator, if we literally, see at the end of the season, if we effectively fire Zach Robinson and see Steve Sarkisian is interested in offensive coordinator, I'd grab him in a second, mate. I would grab him in a second, because
I would agree with that.
Effectively, he's 2 years with us was tarnished because he came after Shanahan, and nobody is going to effectively walk in behind Shanahan and make the do the job better. And effectively, us Falcons fans, we seen what we had in the 2016 season and wanted more of that, and expected Steve Sarkisian to continue that.
Yeah.
and it just was never going to happen. His first year he struggled, his second year he improved, and I thought probably as it went on, he then left us. I think went to Alabama as offensive coordinator, and they won the national championship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
yeah.
so
Like the guy knows how to coach. Like I've said it 1,000 times. Like I feel. Thank you for agreeing with me on this one, because you've kind of brought up some feelings that I had at that time, and I felt like, yeah, some coaches are more cut out for college, and we've made that point, but some of them are right on that cusp, and I feel like Sarkisian's one of the guys that's right on the cusp, because he's such a high level college coach that if he can get into the right system, he can definitely do well. And I feel like the system's a lot maybe better now for him to succeed, because we're a younger team, we're a growing team, we've got a lot of weapons. He knows how to scheme a good offense, as we've seen from Alabama. So yeah, I think in a lot of ways, as you say, if that's the game we've got to play at the end of the season, and we're looking at Steve and he's available, I'd say we take him for sure. Give him another crack.
I think the biggest issue is going to be the fact that I think his best move, if he did come into the NFL, would be he'd be taking an offensive coordinator's job. But
yes,
but the visuals of your effectively Texas head coach, and you then effectively step sideways. Whatever you say, college football's massive. I mean, it's massive. You know what I mean? So effectively, you're then going from that. Yeah, I know his representatives have said that he's up for taking a head coach position, but I just think with the 2 years he had at the Falcons, I think it would be better looking at an offensive coordinator job, and then if he can then do it, which I think he probably will, then step up to a head coach position. But I think he probably wants to go leave Texas and come into a head coaching position, which I think would be the wrong move. I think he needs a few years again in the NFL as a coordinator before taking a head coach. But I agree, the visuals he jumped from Texas head coach and then becoming an offensive coordinator, it would look strange. You know what I mean? Considering how big Texas job is as well.
Yeah, it's not a glamorous move. I'll give you that. It's not the glamorous move. It's not the money move necessarily, but it would be important to his development and his tenure. If he wanted to last this time in the league, I feel like that would be the way to do it. As you say, go the route of OC, stick with what he knows, show his skills, and get to know the league a bit better again, and then transition from there. As I say, we might have some head coaching worries coming soon too. So if he wants to get a year or two under his belt, then we'll see where we're at.
That's what I was going to say. Where would you go after this if he does leave?
Tough to say.
Who's? I mean, is there any coordinators in Texas that effectively jump out? Or, I mean, to be fair, I think Lane Kiffin is the name that everybody's talking about now for jobs, but it's.
I wouldn't be mad at it, but my problems with Kiffin is that I feel like he's not stunted, but he's not flexible in some of the ways that he schemes. So if he's the guy that's going to be heading things up, and I do worry. I mean, I know he had national championship himself. I know he's got a great level of success, all the rest of it. It's just that I'm not personally a fan. So if Kiffin gets the job, then I'll support him, but it would be my choice. I would look further afield. There's a guy who's just left SMU, I think it is. I can't remember his name. He's an up-and-coming guy, and I'm watching him. I think he's just left the OC or wide receiver coordinator position at SMU. So I've got eyes on that dude. I would need to double check again, but yeah.
I mean, that brings me to another conversation. No one to jump off it, but I seen a tweet today, and I was quite shocked. Again, our upbringing, me and Will's upbringing in soccer in the UK, very rarely do you see effectively with bigger jobs. Very rarely do you see first-time managers, as we would call them over here. But I seen a tweet. I'm just going to jump on it, and it said Dolphins head coaches since Wanstead, and it goes down. Nick Saban, first-time NFL head coach. Then Cam Cameron, first-time head coach. Tony Sparano, first-time head coach. Then Joe Philbin, first-time head coach. Then Adam Gaze, remember him?
I
The
do.
guys and all that. First-time head coach. Then Brian Flores, first-time head coach. And then on to Mike McDaniels, first-time head coach. So where else in sport do you see effectively this is the way it's always been in the NFL? But what other sport? And anybody can comment if they've got an answer. What other sport has so many and effectively has this system in place where effectively it's always first-time head coaches? I mean, that's unbelievable. When you look at all the coaches that Miami have had, and it's all first-time head coaches. And again, if you look at a lot of, I mean, obviously we've got Raheem, second-time head coach, but that's not improving anything. So that's not made an improvement, the fact that he's already coached before. We had Arthur Smith, first-time head coach. We had Dan Quinn, first-time head coach. Mike Smith, I'm not sure. I don't know his history. But
I'm not too sure on that. I think he might have been a second-time head coach. Just a wee shout out while I'm double checking that to the guys in the chat again. So Smooth Seas wishing us a great show. You know we always have a great show, but it's made better by your presence. So thanks for joining us, Smooth.
Absolutely.
And also we've got Xavier Littman. Good to have you back in the building, dropping those red and blacks. We love to see it, brother. But yeah, as I say, like there's a lot of guys sort of, as I say, on that cusp between college and pro. So there's a lot of different options when you're talking head coach, and it's kind of, it's scary in a way because I'm kind of scheming in two ways, because I'm almost preparing myself for a situation where things go south for him as well. So I mean, I've been concerned about the Falcons head coaching job. I hadn't even begun to think about the Longhorns one yet, but you've got me worried now today. So
right, let's ask this question then. And again, we weren't going to go into it, but I always bloody hijack the show and take it in some other direction. But
fuck it, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So here's a question, Will. Right. So the defense continues to play the way it's been playing, right? The offense effectively shit the bed for the rest of the season, right? The end of the season, Raheem's away, Zach Robinson's away, right? If you're Arthur Blank, do you take the decision, or do you make the decision that you're putting Jeff Ulbrich in as head coach, considering the fact that what happened at New York Jets and his interim spot there?
Interesting question. Bit of a multifaceted answer. I would speak to Jeff before I made any decision. But personally, if the defense plays the way it's been playing, I mean, letting 20 points against San Francisco, that's really, really good considering how effective the Shanahan scheme is and how dynamic a running back C-Mac is. We all credit to Bijan. Like, he's only gotten better since working with that dude. So there you go. It was the Madden cover athlete for a reason. So, but yeah, that we're taking that all into account. We only let in 20 points, so the defense speaks for itself in a lot of ways. Even given the fact that, I mean, we were going to cover it as a separate topic, but I mean, Diablo is out now, Jalen Walker is out now, and so is Billy Bowman. So that's 3 defensive starters. But it proves that we're also deep enough to keep getting results.
Yeah.
So I would argue that no, I wouldn't give him a head coaching position based on the fact that he's doing perfectly well as a defensive coordinator. It's obviously a scheme thing when you're inspiring the depth guys even to play out of their shells. So, but yeah, it would depend entirely, as I say as well, on how Jeff's feeling. Because if he's feeling some kind of way about, oh no, I feel like I can get a bigger payday here, then the conversation might need to be different. But if he was happy to stay there, then my choice would be keep him as DC, and try and bring in someone else. How about you? Would you agree with that, or are you of a different mind?
Well, I'll be honest, and again, it's probably down to Jeff Ulbrich, but if this defense continues to do what it's doing, it's going to get to a point where if we're going to lose them anyway, mate, that it's going to get to that point that if his defense is as good, I mean, you effectively look at, I mean, multiple teams, Miami being one of them, who are effectively just. I mean, it's jackpot time with the offense against some of these defenses. So, if he's doing as well, and to be honest, to be fair, I think probably this Sunday we're going to see how good his defense is and how good his coaching is, because we got so much injuries, and effectively. If, as I say, if he does continue with the defense the way it's going, then it's going to be a decision that if we do sack Raheem, it's a case of we either take Jeff Ulbrich or he's going to go somewhere else anyway. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to snap him up as a head coach, and again, it's the old Shanahan discussion. The amount of people that after a Super Bowl run, when we took and again, the offense was there, but the defense played a part. After the Super Bowl run, everybody was saying once Shanahan went away and everything, after a few years, everything just went Pete Tong over here in Atlanta. The amount of people that were saying we should have sacked Dan Quinn at the end of the 2016 season and put in Kyle Shanahan as a head coach. I mean, that's ridiculous. Bearing in mind that Kyle Shanahan had never been a head coach at that point, you know what I mean? So, but the amount of people with hindsight said, "Oh, we should have fired Dan Quinn and went for Kyle Shanahan as head coach." And there's a good chance if this team doesn't improve, we're at a point where we might have to make that decision again, where it's effectively Raheem's gone, and Jeff Ulbrich's. We've got an option to bring in and have a defensive dynamo, and from my point of view, what I would say is that I've watching soccer. You always talk about the new manager bounce. They always bring in, and they're doing really bad. They bring in a new manager, and all of a sudden they're a different team. You know what I mean? I think Jeff Ulbrich has shown that he analyzes the game really well, because effectively, as soon as we are drafting players, he knows exactly. He's literally coming out 10 minutes later in an interview telling people where he's going to play them. So he knows the game inside and out. He analyzes the game, and I think the turnaround in this defense has been phenomenal. And that's the side of good coaching.
Yeah, it certainly has, and a good point here has been raised by Xavier, and that's one that we were going to get on to, and I feel like we almost could cover it now, Des, because we have kind of been teasing it throughout the show, but we have seen the news, as Xavier said, so I'll just pull up the visuals for you now on that, but the MPJ injury, it's still, as we heard the latest, it's day-to-day, bone bruise, lower leg, but again, as you say, Xavier, there is a good chance. It's been stated from between likely to certain sources saying, well, pretty much definite that he's going to be starting. So we're going, as Des said at the start of the show, it's Kirktober again. So spooky season. Whether you celebrate Halloween or not, it looks like it's going to be going to be a bit of a scare for us. But as you'll see later on, our keys to the game, at least for me, don't involve passing the ball very much.
No. The way I look at it is he's the highest paid NFL backup for a reason, mate.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody wants to go back and look at the shows we had before the season started, one of the main things I said quite a few times was, I don't believe we've seen the last of Cousins.
Yeah.
I remember saying it. I said it a few times. I just had it in my bones. When you effectively look at Michael Penix Jr. being a rookie, effectively the fact that there was so much movement and issue with the Caleb McGarry injury, and you can only see more pressure on the quarterback with everything that's happened with the O-line. And I just seen that at some point Michael Penix Jr. is going to get banged up. And they're effectively saying that it's a bone bruise on the knee. I've heard a bone bruise on the knee. Now, going back to his college days, it was knee injuries. Knee injuries, wasn't there?
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah. He had a couple. He took a knock in his sophomore season, I think it was. So he's had knee issues since like his second year in college. So they've been plaguing him for maybe 2-3 years at this point. So it's not the first issue with his knee. So maybe that's why that's the one thing that's given me a little bit of relief. When I think about it, is the fact that it's maybe precautionary, to where they've said, "Nah, you've got a history of knees. We're better resting you for a game," especially because as a team who, let's be fair to the Dolphins, they're not on the level of the Bills or the Niners. So yeah, just rest this one. We know we've got a perfectly capable, serviceable backup sitting there, and I feel like that could have played into the decision a little bit too. So a shout out to Sonia. She's got a comment on the Ulbrich situation, saying that she can see him as an interim head coach for the rest of the season if we sacked him, but maybe not full time. If him goes before the end of the season, then I think Ulbricht's proved himself more than capable of being the guy to kind of step up and kind of fill the gap. But yeah, the question again arises of where do you go from there, and that's going to be an interesting one to see. But yeah, as you say, Floyd, Divine Diablo's out with a forearm as well. And as you say, he's had season-ending knee and shoulder injuries. But the knee hurt in college wasn't the same one he hurt this time. Okay. But yeah, just knowing that he is injury prone, I would still rest him for a game or two then, just off the basis that he has shown that he can't stay healthy, or obviously he can stay healthy, but if the knocks start piling up, and he's playing, and that's the thing, the knocks are going to add up, because as we've said, he can only be so effective behind what is a depleted offensive line, Des.
And with this play calling as well, when you don't run the damn ball, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you've effectively got a rookie quarterback and you expect him to be Matt Ryan and a veteran and throw the ball down the park, you know what I mean? We said it before in the Thursday show, make it simple for this guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Allow him to be the quarterback he's going to be in a year's time or 2 years' time. Let him learn what he's seen in front of him. Let him ease in early, ease in slowly, and learn everything the way he should, the way the NFL. Yeah. That's why you're seeing players like Sam Darnold, who literally for 4, 5, 6 seasons have struggled. All of a sudden, they're in a well-coached team and they do well. Daniel Jones is the same. These players, it's taking them 3 or 4 seasons just to learn what the NFL is all about when it comes to quarterback.
Yeah, and then, when you're in that conversation, I'd throw Trevor Lawrence into the mix. I feel like he's a very good quarterback. I feel like Jacksonville's a dumpster fire burning around about him. So I feel like if you if you gave him the staff in, say, LA at the Rams, or I don't know, maybe up in Cincinnati or something like that as a backup, I feel like he'd be in a much better situation, personally. So I see what you're saying.
But again, I would say the same thing about this offense. See if you gave Kyle Shanahan the offense that we've got, the players we've got, it would be number one offense. Or Sean McVay. If we gave Sean McVay this offense, that's how we're having an issue with Zach Robinson, because these players are monsters. These players, effectively, this should be the best offense in the NFL, no bar none. And to be honest, Guy Penix is due. He's coming out in interviews and saying, "I've watched back the games. We're not playing well enough. We need to do better." You know what I mean? Yeah. He's calling out the players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is one thing I was going to say, Des, because I mean, this is one thing that shouldn't piss me off, but this is one thing that annoys me about being a Falcons fan, is it splits your mind in two. Because now, if we do run the ball effectively, let's say we run the ball for 300 yards and 3 scores on these guys tomorrow, I'm going to be saying, okay, so you can do it when you bench the starter, but you know the starter's limitations, and you put him out there and throw 35 times a game. So it's showing coaching inadequacy again for me, just by deliberate. Like, I know we're going to run the ball, but can you see what I'm saying? It's like this adjustment should have been made, and we wouldn't have to be looking at a backup quarterback.
But again, this all goes down to the insecurities of this coaching staff. This coaching staff is terrified that this is the worst bit. This coaching staff will be terrified if Kirk Cousins goes out there and balls, because then they're worrying that they've got that conversation. No, you don't have this conversation. You've got a 24-year-old quarterback that's got an arm like a cannon, or you've got a 36-year-old veteran who's injury prone and had a Achilles surgery a few years ago, who literally just shit the bed for 5 games last season. So there's no discussion on it. Even if Kirk Cousins comes out and balls, it's Michael Penix's team. But I guarantee you this coaching staff are sitting there hoping that Kirk Cousins struggles so that they don't have to take all these questions. Well, you know what? See if you believe in Michael Penix Jr., take the questions, ask the questions, and tell them to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And have pride and effectively support your own decision. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And also if you care about Michael Penix, how about you try running the football so he's not getting put on his fucking arse 15 times a game? That might help.
But again,
maybe
at the end of the San Francisco game, effectively what we'd done is we put ourselves into a corner because the play calling was so bad that Zach Robinson had to call passing plays, because third and 12, third and 11, the first calls weren't helping the quarterback. So at some point we were having to call for Michael Penix to effectively bring out that cannon arm and try and get it down the park.
Right. They did shit the bed, man. Somebody had too much of something. Like, I've got a photo here. Like, I've entitled it Blundermen, and I don't have to explain why. This face should tell you everything you need to know. He did not have a clue what was going on. Like, putting 10 men on the field, 12 men on the field, not adjusting, not mixing the play calls up. And I know that's not just him's fault. That's Robinson too, which is why I chose one where he was standing in shot. But it's not good enough. Not nearly good enough.
But again, I'm seeing exactly what's happening here, because I look back and I watched the 2 games. I watched the Buffalo Bills game and I watched the San Francisco 49ers game. Now, the Felipe Franks 4th and 1, that was phenomenal. See, when I watched that, I thought to myself, that's the kind of offensive coordinator I want. Somebody with balls that's not scared to do stuff like that, right?
That's it.
But what was the difference? The difference was nobody expected us to win against the Buffalo Bills. So Zach Robinson sitting there thinking to himself, do you know what? See if it goes Pete Tong, see if it goes wrong. it was supposed to happen anyway. We weren't supposed to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he gets into a position where he should effectively be winning a game, he shits the bed because all the pressure's on him. He's looking at this thinking to himself, all these injuries that San Francisco 49ers have got in their defense, their two best defensive players are out. They're effectively into the third string in other positions. At that point, the pressure's on him, and he just blundered after blunder after blunder. Now that shows inadequate coaching. That shows effectively a weak mind. That shows somebody that doesn't believe in his own scheme. And again, that's not the kind of people that we need to be in control of our team. Raheem's done the same as well. In the games that there's no pressure, time management, fantastic. When he's put under pressure, the time management's all over the place. As I said before in the last show, this ain't a proving ground. The Atlanta Falcons aren't here so that you can make yourself better. The Atlanta Falcons are here so that you can make Atlanta Falcons better. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. The problem is they're effectively trying to improve on the job, which effectively Atlanta Falcons shouldn't be like that. We should have proven coaches in place that we know they can do the job and they're going to take Atlanta Falcons forward. None of this bullshit, mistakes, or we've made mistakes. At some point this week, I'm going to go into Grok on X and I'm going to ask him how many times since Raheem Morris has took charge of the Atlanta Falcons in his press conferences has he mentioned the word mistake.
I was gonna say start a drinking game, but do you know what? If you want these shows to continue, you don't want me in hospital with alcohol poisoning, don't put that on me. Do not ask me to do that because the amount of times he says that is fucking frustrating. And Xavier's agreeing with you as well. The coaching's been inadequate. They're taking no ownership. I says to you, I just sat and watched I rewatched it again today to see if I was wrong. I wasn't. 18-minute presser, and not once did they say, we need to be better. I'm not doing what I need to do here. And it's like, we can all see that you're not doing what you need to do here, so just admit it. I'm sick of hearing apologies at this point. I want to see the improvements, or at least that you're trying to adjust and roll with the punches. But instead of just being complacent, you know?
Yeah. But how long are we going to be here? How long are we going to be here where we're effectively hearing him saying that he's made this mistake? And to be honest, this doing it for the boys bullshit again, that pisses me off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Effectively, he comes out and says the 10 men on the park was on me, right? So he's doing that so that Jeff Ulbrich can say, "Oh, thanks very much, Raheem. You took one for me, took one for the boys." No, because effectively, Jeff Ulbrich is a man himself, and he says to himself, "Well, see if I've fucked up, then I'm going to say I fucked up. I don't need you to cover me. I fucked up.
And
the 10 men on the park was on me. So Raheem, you can do one and just let me take the grief for that. That was on me.
That's
I don't need you to cover me." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's a fantastic point, and that's one that Maggie raised as well. Raheem's coaching style is that he tries to be everyone's best friend, and it's like, nah, you need to. Your job title is head coach, so it's in the job description. You can't be everybody's friend all of the time. Not when the team's struggling. Not when there's like holes that need to be fixed. You need to be a boss first and a friend second. And I feel like that's. On you go, Des. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. I cut you up. You continue, mate. Sorry.
No. I was pretty much done.
But effectively, Raheem needs to be effectively a negotiator. That's what his job is, right? The defensive coordinator wants as much of the money spent in the defense, and the offensive coordinator wants as much money spent in the offense, right? And effectively, the play calls that come out the defensive coordinator wants to fucking blitz every minute of the day, right? And the offensive coordinator wants a fucking 80 yard fucking bomb down the park off. That doesn't happen. That's the problem. But there's been too many times in games where you can see what's going wrong, and at no point does Raheem step in and effectively pull it back or make a decision. Effectively, there's been time management issues. You know what I mean? Raheem, effectively, when he took the job, the first thing he said was he wasn't going to be a play caller. He was going to step back so that he could see the game and put all that pressure on other people. Fine, fantastic. We had came for Arthur Smith, effectively messing it up on offense because he wanted to do the play calling on offense, right?
Yep.
Now, I would say that Arthur Smith's time management wasn't great, but Arthur Smith's time management was better than Raheem Morris, and Raheem Morris ain't doing any play calling. So if he's stepping back to watch the game and watch the field as a whole, why is he missing so many crucial parts and crucial timeouts? And I mean, the Drake London one against Buffalo Bills, it didn't come back and haunt us. But effectively, there's a good chance that could have lost us a game. The fact that he didn't call a timeout 20 seconds earlier, which would have gave us effectively a first and goal in the 1 yard line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you flagged it up to us, Des. You flagged it up on one of the shows. He's 30 and 52 as a head coach for a reason. Like, that's probably why he's not adjusting well. He's not. And it seems like he has fundamental issues when it comes to reading a game, and that's why I feel like he's pretty much like, I don't want to say he's achieved all he's going to achieve in Atlanta. I feel like he's still, if he can still turn that around, but he's definitely got something fundamental missing in his understanding of the game.
I mean, watching that, looking at that, the 28th scoring offense, effectively in this, with all these weapons is absolute. I mean, it's a sack offense. It should be a sack offense as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Are you there, Will? I think we've lost Will. I think Will's away. So, I'm just going to go to the questions. So, one from Floyd. Rather Blank needs to open his eyes about Rahi. Yeah, absolutely. And then effectively Sonia, when we run the ball more, we win. And when we throw the ball more, we lose. Absolutely. I don't trust Raheem, Zach, and Kirk. I feel like MPJ got set up to fail and get hurt in the game we lost. Absolutely, Sonia. From my point of view, not a problem. From my point of view, the all the play calling that Zach Robinson done with MPJ was disgraceful. And as I said, when you see how bad our offense is, 28th in scoring points, it's a sack offense. I mean, we've got some weapons on this offense, but they just can't. They just can't put it together. Now, after the Carolina Panthers game, we all wondered what went wrong. It's Zach Robinson's play call. That's what went wrong. The play calling was garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, the problem we've got is Raheem isn't a man. He's the kind of guy that he'll put up with this, just like what he put up with Jimmy Lake's defense last year. He'll put up with it to the end of the season, and then something will happen.
Yeah.
When it's too late, when we're out the playoffs, you know what I mean? Effectively, and then Zach Robinson comes out and says we're not scoring enough points. You shit me? Seriously? We can all see that. We can see we're not scoring enough points. You're the offensive coordinator. That's your job to score more points. If you simplify your play calling and make it easier for your quarterback, rather than expecting the MPJ to do these 40-yard darts, which, to be fair, is doing really well, simplify it. Bring in a Mac Jones San Francisco 49ers offense and work from that. And I know there was plenty of talk at this before the season started about short throws for Michael Penix Jr. were effectively, he wasn't doing well with them. He was better with the long throws. And I said at the time, well, I would rather have that than being able to do the short throws and not being able to do the big throws, because effectively you can work on that. You know what I mean? It's just the whole thing. I mean, as I say, I don't confess to be an NFL guru, and every time I look at this Atlanta Falcons team and I watch the play calling, it's got holes everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And I can only imagine what the players are thinking when they see some of these calls getting called. You know what I mean? I watched the new episode of On the Rise. And again, you see Chris Lyncham coming over to Drake London during the San Francisco game and effectively said, this is on us. We're not doing what we should do for you guys. And Drake London's like, yeah, we'll get there. You know what I mean? So these players are winners. They want to win. But when you're calling plays where effectively Michael Penix Jr. has to get the ball out within 2 seconds to a wide receiver who is effectively still batting down the field. I mean, it's just, and bearing in mind that this is only Michael Penix Jr.'s 9th game. He's not played 40 games in the NFL. This is his 9th game, and we expect him to play like a veteran. It's just
100%.
garbage. And to be honest, if we go over it, if we lose it, I mean, see, to be honest, pardon me, forget Kirk Cousins. See Felipe Franks as a quarterback. We should be beating the Miami Dolphins. You know what I mean? But what's going to happen is Mike McDaniels will think to himself, do you know what? I quite fancy that offensive coordinator job in Atlanta. I am going to pray to the world, pray to the universe. I'm going to make sure that this Miami defense and this Miami offense is singing like a sweet canary. And I guarantee you, this is going to be a hard. I don't care what anybody says. This is going to be a hard game tomorrow. Absolutely going to be a hard game for us.
Yeah, and that's where we'll make a switch. But I can see another point here for Xavier before we do. When it comes to opposing team defenders saying that they know what, and that's what I said was the biggest problem with that 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. They already knew what you were going to fucking run, so why run it again? They had it scouted the first time.
And then Zach Robinson comes out in the press and says that he has not called that play this year. Right, okay. Well, I smell shite. That's
and do you know what? You're never fucking calling it again, no?
But so effectively, what he's then saying is his offense is so easy to read that effectively they're looking at what Drake London is doing to understand what calls getting played. That's a predictable offense. If it's not a predictable offense, you're not sitting in 28th place in points scored if you're not a predictable offense.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
That's the thing. You need to keep them guessing. You need to mix it up. But obviously, they come in expecting the run. But for as much as they've come in expecting the run, like, we're not balancing enough. And when we do try to pass more often than we do run, it all goes to shit. And this is the thing. I feel like people almost expected too much from Michael Penix coming in. And as I say, he's still a rookie. He's had injury worries, so we have to take that into account. But at the same time, he's not people are thinking he's because he's been tutored or mentored by Michael Vick, and that he's a black left-handed quarterback, that he's going to be the next coming of Michael Vick, and he's a completely different fucking dude. So you can't run him into the ground the way you could Michael Vick. He's a different, the way he plays and schemes a game and the way he reads the game is completely different. And both Vic and Penix would tell you that. But I feel like the amount of running that they're doing is getting the guy hurt. And the fact that they kept him out there, like you seen him hobbling around towards the end of that fourth quarter. Why at that the game was done. We were 20-10 down, 6 minutes on the clock, and you've still got him out there. That was disgusting.
But that's down to the insecurity of the coaching staff. We've not got Nathan Jones or whatever the guy's name was as backup. We've got Kirk Cousins. Yeah. We've got the highest paid backup in the NFL. So why not turn to him then? Because they don't want to ask. They don't want the questions. They don't want the questions asked. That's the problem. The other thing I would say as well is in the San Francisco game, Kyle Shanahan was running the ball and it was successful, and he was putting effectively CMC into pass plays, and it was literally wee dinks over the defense, and away he went, and he kept on doing it, and that's Kyle Shanahan. Some works with Kyle Shanahan, he rams it down your throat. The same can be said for Arthur Smith. When Arthur Smith could run the ball, he rammed the ball. I don't care. Do you remember the scene? Just run. We'll just keep running. We'll just keep running the damn ball. Zach Robinson just doesn't know. I mean, honestly, mate, it's like the wheel of fortune. Play calling. It's literally spin it and see what comes up next.
It's football. It should be football 101. Like you've learned to scheme a run play before you learn to scheme a pass play. So if like your fundamental number one plan coming out is we run the ball until they prove that they can stop it. If they can't stop it, I'm just going to keep running all over you. It should be simple enough. And the fact that he's not getting that when he's got Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and I'll throw Nate Carter into that mix as well. That is a fantastic running back room that most coaches around the league, 20 plus coaches around the league would be crawling over rotten glass to call their running back room.
Absolutely, but again, this is the insecurities of the coaching staff. Effectively against San Francisco 49ers, as soon as they get a bit of resistance on the run game, it literally get tossed aside.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like chalk and cheese. It was like Jekyll and Hyde. It was like Bijan against Buffalo Bills was the best player in NFL. Effectively, I mean, literally I can't remember seeing as many Atlanta Falcons videos on YouTube after that game about Bijan Robinson and interviews and this and that. Then they come into this game and it's Bijan who?
Yeah.
Bijan. Who's that? You know what I mean?
That's it. So Sonia said that they out Bijan. They ran an offense against us that should be our bread and butter offense. Like as Des says, if you lift that offense that they just ran against us and use that, I think we're going to floor Miami if we take a similar scheme than that they just ran against us. Because obviously Shanahan is one of the best offensive minds in the league, and as I say, when he finds something that works, he's gonna ram it down your throat, as you say. And you might just be the only one, Andrew, that's looking forward to that. At least it will give us a laugh. You've got us there. It will be a laugh, and as much as like, but as I say, you don't want your cursing again.
How typical of Kyle Shanahan to finally work out that he has to run the fucking ball. Could he have not done it fucking all the years ago when we were screaming at him to run the ball?
It's just like,
you know what I mean?
how many years is it going to be, Des? Like we're on episode 26 now.
Mate,
I wonder if we'll hit 100 and still be shouting "run the fucking ball."
Well, I still feel pain. Honestly, mate, I just literally see when I go to a therapist, it's no talking about my childhood.
Yeah.
It's talking about February 2017, mate. It's seriously, it lives in my brain. I just the pain I still carry with that is, I mean, and I'm not joking, mate. The pain I carry watching that happening was, I mean, it can't be discussed enough, mate. And effectively, you then see what's happened with this team since then, and it's like you just won. I love this team. We love this team. You just want, honestly, mate. You just want a Super Bowl. You just want whatever you say about Arthur Blank. He's a great owner, and he's getting on. And you would just love to see that man. Jake Matthews as well. The fact that he's the only guy left from the Super Bowl run, and seeing him lifting the trophy
man.
as well.
He ought to be the first hand on that thing, man. If anybody's earned it, Jake has, for his consistency.
Absolutely.
Like, we talk about playing for the lid and the colour of your jersey being more the most important thing, and no one man embodies that more. Like, that's why I love the offensive line unit so much, because second to him, I would probably put Chris Lindstrom. But if you're going to pick one guy who is like Mr. Falcon of today, it would have to be Jake. That's the dude.
Absolutely. And again, all we want is to. I can see. I just see where this season is going. Yep. We're going to beat Miami. We're going to lose the next game. I think is it the Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots on the road.
Yeah, and then that's us 4-4. Then we've got Indianapolis Colts who are doing well. It's just going to be one of these seasons where we just miss the playoffs, and we're all sitting at the start of next season talking about how excited we are to see the more of the development of Michael Penix Jr. because he's going to improve as the season goes on. Hopefully, the injury's not too bad, but
yeah.
You just want to be one of the you want to be the Rams. Was it the Rams when it was Kurt Warner? Literally, they signed them off an arena football team, sign him, bring him in as a backup. The main player in pre-season gets injured. He starts the games and takes them to the Super Bowl. Why can't that happen to us? You know what I mean? Why is it that effectively, historically, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the worst team in NFL, and they've won Super Bowls? You know what I mean? At some point, we're going to put it together for just 1 year. At just some point.
Oh yeah. It's all we're asking. We just want our glass slipper Disney movie moment. That's it.
Just
everybody else gets one.
I'll take mediocrity. Just gaze one good season. Just gaze it for just give us one season where we can do it. You know what I mean?
I don't like being in that company with the Browns and the Bills anymore. It's not nice in there.
Aye.
To boil it down, I think like as we say, Des, as we say, to kind of sum up that last half hour of ranting, the keys to victory, it's two dudes named Robinson, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's how well do you scheme and how well can you run the ball? That's really it for me. And as I say, like if you've got anything else to put in before we do it, like I was going to just ask if you had any final score predictions, but before we do, if you've got anything else to add, I'd love to hear it, mate.
I mean, from my point of view, if we lose against the Falcons, I mean, we need to sack people. Against the Dolphins, we need to sack people. People need to be sacked. Yeah. I don't care that we would be 3-4 and the season's still upon us. At some point, we need to make a decision that this coaching staff isn't the coaching staff that we believed they were going to be. None of this 3 years of Arthur Smith. You know what I mean? After 2 seasons, whatever you say about Terry Fontenot gave this coaching staff a team. By God, he's gave them a team, so they can't complain about the players they've got. It's not as if we're looking at these teams like probably the first year of Arthur Smith. We looked at effectively 1-year contracts and players you'd never heard of, and he effectively he done. I think it was a 10-7 season. And
10-7.
And to be honest, a 7-10 season. He done well with the players he's got, but as the players improved, it didn't improve. That the team didn't improve, and the results didn't improve. So
yeah,
at some point we need to get away from the fact that we don't need 3 years to work out whether this coaching staff's working or not. You know what I mean? If we don't make the playoffs and effectively this season, it's we sack everybody bar Jeff Ulbrich. But I think
that's what I'm saying.
If Raheem goes, I think Jeff Ulbrich goes as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what we're dreading. But I mean, like, we'll sum it all up for you guys in picture form as well for the guys watching. So I mean, we're back at the Benz. The experts have all got us winning. We still have the number 1 pass defense in the league, as we were saying. I'm going to throw this up too because I thought it was a really cool image. Sorry. And then also, as I say, it's going to come down to what these two guys do. But if you want to talk about rising up, nobody knows how to perform on a big game stage like Bijan. So as long as he shows up and the defense shows up, I'm not too worried about it. I think we will get the win. My big worry, as you say, Des, is I don't want it to just be a seesaw season where we get a win, then we get complacent, then we get our ass kicked, and then we get fired up because we've lost, and then we come back and win again. I don't just want it to be another one of those years. So I really, as I say, looking at the next 6 games, like as we said, it's Miami, New England, Indianapolis, and then Carolina, New Orleans, and New York Jets. So all 6 of them are winnable if we scheme right. But as I say, I'm gonna put a ceiling on it, a 4-2. If we're not 4-2 in the next 6 games, then I'm going to be asking some serious questions. If heads roll before then, like, I mean, losing to Miami is a bad look. If we lose this one, then I agree with you, burn the place down and start again. I think we win.
But again, I look at Mike Vrabel, and effectively he came out and said beating the Buffalo Bills really gave us confidence, and that really changed the season for us and started us we had the confidence then to move forward. Mm-hmm. So where is that with the Falcons? We beat the Bills, you know what I mean, and then effectively, I mean, it was capitulation against the San Francisco 49ers. Having all these weapons and scoring 10 points was ridiculous. You know what I mean? No. And to be honest, tomorrow's one of the games where there's no joy in it for me, to be honest, because I always said when you live in Scotland and you support one of the big teams, when it comes to soccer, there's never happiness, because effectively if you play a small team you're expected to win. So well, they've won, so they were expected to win, and when they actually lose, it's the end of the world. And to me, this game's the same. There's no joy in it. If we beat them, we would effectively need to go out there and absolutely destroy them. But at that point, you're still saying, well, it's a Miami Dolphins. I mean, they're 1-5 at the moment. So
1-6, yeah.
1-6. So, but I then look back to what happened against the Raiders last year, when I think they had the same record, and Desmond Ridder nearly beat us. And at that point, that was when we then decided to get rid of Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you now, mate, an NFL game's still an NFL game, so I'm not sleeping on these Dolphins. They've got some weapons themselves. I mean, all Tua has to do is get the ball out, and he's got number 10 and number 17 out there. So he's got some weapons himself that he can make work. Devon Achane in the backfield as well is rapid. So I mean, they can get the job done if they have to. They haven't this season, which surprises me with the weapons that they have. But yeah, if we sleep on it, it might just cost us. And if we lose this one, you can pretty much call the season done for me.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. This is the problem. Every game now is a must-win because we're in this position. You know what I mean? We're past the bye. It's head down every game, every week going forward. You know what I mean? But I believe in the defense. But this offense has just been. I mean, and to be honest, it's nothing to do with the players. It's the play calling. You know what I mean? Yeah. As I say, if you literally says to me that you can see the future and you've seen the game and the Miami Dolphins beat us, where a field goal last seconds of the game, it wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't surprise me. As I say, I'm getting no joy from this game at all because it can only bad things can happen. You know what I mean? And if they win, it's the Miami Dolphins. They should win anyway. So that
and the fact where I feel like some of the younger fans when we lose to a team that we're expected to beat, it's just like, how long have you been a Falcons fan? I see a year and a half. It's like, you'll learn.
The roller coaster ride. Beat the Buffalo Bills and lose to the Carolina Panthers and beat the Buffalo Bills, and then capitulate against the San Francisco 49ers. And then effectively we'll probably lose against the Miami Dolphins. We'll beat the New England Patriots, and we'll beat the Indianapolis Colts. Then we'll lose against Carolina Panthers again.
It's one of those years, man, where that just might happen. And to be honest, I feel like when I retire for doing this show with you, I feel like they're going to give us a nice pair of red and black slippers and a fucking straitjacket. I'd say we've earned it.
Listen, mate, I'm going to end up effectively. I'm going to be in a ward, and they'll sit me in a chair, and I'll think I'm on a roller coaster. In my head, I'm on a roller coaster. And all I see in front of me is all these past Falcons games. And it's like up, down, whoa, up, down. That's literally the life of a Falcons fan. But at some point we need to have a bit of consistency. This is why when we sit down at the start of the season and we hear all these media guys saying, it's going to be a 7-10 year again, and we all go, what? Are you having a laugh? You don't know the team. Look at all our weapons. Then you put it into practice and you think, well, he's maybe right. You know what I mean? It's the same with Stephen A. Smith, who always say Dallas Cowboys will always be the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I mean? At some point, the Atlanta Falcons need to stop being the Atlanta Falcons. They need to, at some point, change their spots and bring some consistency to this game and effectively put us out of misery and do something 1 year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like as I say, we all know, but I'm going to flash something up. We've seen in the past what Kirk Cousins can do in flashes, and we've also seen how bad it can get in flashes. So I'm going into this game with not very much confidence, and a win won't really buy me that much more. So I see what you mean. It's not a great measuring stick, Des, for kind of where you want to be at the end of the season. But at the same time, it's a good team to reset against to get ready for someone who might be a challenge in New England and somebody who has been having some success as well. And I can see another comment here from Sonia. As a head coach, Raheem doesn't have the team prepared when we play teams that have a losing record. No, he'll get complacent, but he's coming off a loss as well. Like if we played Miami after Buffalo, then we may well have lost to them. But coming off a loss and knowing how much adversity is on him, I think he might pull his socks up this week. It's just a feeling. You might be right. But I think he might pull it out this week.
I think the worst thing about it all, Will, is the fact that we're getting in against a 1-6 team, and we're discussing the possibility that we might not win this game.
Yeah, that should tell you that you need to know, man.
Because we don't know what team's going to turn up, and I wouldn't say the team. We just don't know what this coaching staff is going to do, and that tells you all we need to know about where I'm at with this coaching staff. To be honest,
yeah, it's again a team that splits you into two minds, because I'm so in love with so many of these players on the roster, but it just drains the energy and the get up and go straight out of you when they're not coached appropriately, because you're taking some of the best players in their respective positions in the league and you're making them look average. It's ridiculous. So it's hopefully that's all we want to see. Like, when you talk about hopes and expectations for Sunday, a win is something that's expected, but I'm not going to obviously count my chickens before they're hatched. But
I think it'll be a win. I mean, see, if this was in Miami, I'd be seriously doubting what was going to happen. But to be honest, they are starting to make the Benz a bit of effectively a stronghold. And I don't know. I don't think the Miami Dolphin fans are going to travel in hordes watching this game, watching this team. So let's hope it's full of Falcons fans this time. So,
We'll shout out to our boy Yuri. I know he's going to the game again. So he's having to delay his debut tomorrow. So we'll get him on for the post game and find out what the news is from the stadium.
I can't wait to ask Yuri what exactly he does for a living, because
from the Facebook posts, I think he's a music producer or of some sort, because he talks a lot about upcoming singles and things of that nature.
Right.
But I'm not being funny. I'm jealous of the man, because you should have seen the steak that he had the other day. He's
everywhere he goes to I mean, literally, he supports every Atlanta team. He's just phenomenal. Love the guy.
We're so looking forward to having him. Like, we've followed him online.
Puts his money where his mouth is, absolutely. You can't say anything about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, as I say, the reason he couldn't make this show is he was busy doing prep for the Hawks, because the basketball season's up and running now. So, I mean, that's someone who maybe a less frequent flyer than some, but you will still see him on some of the shows going forward. So that's something that we're thrilled to announce. And as I say, if you don't know by now, we can also announce that the Scottish Falcons are presenting a double header tonight and tomorrow. So we will have the live game. So I'm going to be live from. Des has just corrected me, because the clocks go back for ourselves, not for yous. That's obviously over in Europe. So it's 5 p.m. for us. So you're actually going to get you're going to get me anyway. Des has got other commitments, but you're going to see me on bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for a change. So that'll be a nice surprise for you. And as I say, we'll bring you all the action from the first snap to the last. So until then, there's not much really else to say before we close out. So we put it back to yous and ask to the world any questions. Because as I say, it's been a great show, breaking things down, just giving you some of our thoughts and insights, some of our fears as well, Des. But yeah. If anybody's got any last minute questions, then drop them down in the chat, because as I say, you guys are the lifeblood of the show. We love that there's so many people always tuning in and giving us their thoughts as well, because without you guys, there's no point. to any of this.
Absolutely.
So thank you again for as the names that pop up in the chat. We see them every time, Des, and it really it makes us feel more inclined to give a show 100%. Like we're always on giving everything to the shows anyway. Appreciate that, Christy. But like having you guys down in the chat, the frequent flyers as well, as we say, always kind of giving us love. That spurs us on. So we appreciate that more than we can tell you guys.
I think this is probably the good part of being an Atlanta Falcons fan. The fact that I think the fan base is most of the fan base is phenomenal. We know there's a few out there that are just toxic and just literally people that support the team and they're screaming. Listen, no matter how much I hate this coaching staff, I will never come on and wish that my Atlanta Falcons are going to lose to get rid of a coaching staff. No point at all. You know what I mean? So
I'm not a tanking guy.
But we've got people on X that are literally saying, I hope Miami destroy us so that we can get rid of this coaching staff. That's no fans. Fans, I don't care. I want to win week in, week out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these players deserve that. This fan base deserves it. And I keep on saying, what a party this is going to be, and it's going to be in Atlanta when the Falcons finally win the big one, because I mean it's going to be a party to end all parties. I'll tell you. The Olympics. Do you think the Olympics were good? I'll tell you. The Super Bowl party when the Atlanta Falcons win is going to be in a whole different stratosphere. I'll tell you now.
There's going to be a different kind of Olympic torch. Me and Des will bring the light across, and we'll show you what a party is.
Absolutely.
Oh, I look forward to the day, Des, and that's what, as I say, for anyone that's seen the interactions on Twitter between myself and the German boys, like that's what I told the guys in Germany as well. I'm just jealous that they were on their way back for Cali, to be 100% honest, and I was looking forward to the next time where we can get across and do it. Obviously, as I say, get the black and red kilts on and go to the game, and you'll be able to hear our dulcet tones in person. We would let you know that you should probably bring your earplugs. It might get a little bit loud, but
there's nothing more sweet than listening to a Scotsman screaming at a football match. I'll tell you, it's big. The one thing about us is we're no scared to support our team. And as Paul said earlier on, they're not kicking us out the stadium, that's for sure.
Aye, that's it. Just you don't have to start anything violent, because I'm not starting anything violent with you. Just grab your boy a pint, pull up beside me, and we'll sing song together. That's the Scottish attitude, basically. And that's it. And as you say, we like to keep it Celtic, so why would we come over there and act some different kind of way? So we're bringing the passion with us, because as we always say in closing, you'll find out when we get there, if you haven't heard it by now. But as I say, if there's no more questions tonight, as I say, we've enjoyed fielding the ones that you've had for us, and talking about the game. But we'll be with you for a few hours tomorrow as well. So if you've got anything that you want to get off your chest, as I say, there's the double header. So until then, if you want to join the Kilted Revolution, we're on the worldwide recruitment drive 24/7, because your boy doesn't sleep, as you know. So for more panelists and contributors, if you want to get in touch with either myself or Des or Maggie about coming on board, we're possibly expanding out into some West Coast shows as well. Just timings wise and logistically, it's going to work out better. So if you're out West Coast and you're going, maybe that's not the best bet, we're half the world away and we're making it work. So as I say, we're a great family, a great network. So if you want to get on and do what we are doing here, you know what to do. But as I say, we always appreciate you coming on. Des, you know what to do. If the people want to get after you after the show, where can they get you?
Yeah, so again, shout out to all the people on the Scottish Falcon handle and X that have been tuning in as well. So again, that's where I'm normally found. If you find me at X at Scottish Falcon. And again, I don't know what Will was putting out this week, but the amount of new followers I had was unbelievable. So every time I went on X, I had like 10, 12 new followers. So, I think I think I'm 815. So let's try and get me to 1,000 followers.
Hell yeah!
Before the end of the season. So, so if you haven't followed me on X, give us a follow.
Yeah, please do. Give us both a follow on X, because I'm pushing to 1,000 as well. I'm right there with you. I'm about 860 now, give or take. So yeah, both. If you're not following, then you best get on that and help your boys on the quest for 1,000. And thank you so much for the kind words, Tony. We always appreciate you guys coming on, showing love. As I say, you're the reason that when we planned this out and went a double header Saturday and Sunday, I don't know, but then I thought about it and I went, nah, the fans are going to want it. So as I say, if you want us here, we're here, and we're going to continue to be the Scot. As we always say in the descriptions to the videos, the grind don't ever stop for the Kilted Revolution, because at the end of the day, the Scottish Falcons love our ATL. So until tomorrow, good night, everyone. And thank you so much again. And always remember that pain is international, but so is passion. Much love.
Thanks,
Peace out.